My name is Karthika and today I'm going to talk to you about antimicrobial resistance. Okay. So, do you guys recognize who this is? I know I've given the name right there, but that's right, it's Bill Gates. He's the founder of Microsoft. So, why are we discussing about him in a microbiology lecture? Well, you see, there's a little backstory to this. When I was in the 8th standard, I was obsessed with TED Talks and I came across this TED Talk of Bill Gates. And he said, and I quote, "If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it is most likely to be a highly infectious microbe rather than a war. Not missiles, but rather microbes." Well, 8th standard me had a very hard time believing this. 13-year-old me thought microbes are invisible, they're so tiny. So how could they take down an entire population? How could they cause crippling diseases in people across the globe? And then, just 2 years later, when I was in the 10th standard, something happened that completely changed my perspective. What happened, guys? COVID. So I rewatched the exact same TikTok from my home, from my room, between my online classes because nobody was allowed to go outside during that time. A tiny virus, the coronavirus, had kept us all confined to our homes. It had brought the economy, the global economy, to a standstill, and it had halted our educational journey, and it had brought it to a stop. And that was when I realized these tiny microbes, they were not just tiny, they were deadly, they were powerful, and they were lethal weapons. And that was a whole new revelation for me. And then I came into medical college, and then I got to know more about antimicrobial resistance. And I was already pretty scared of these small microbes, leave alone resistant microbes, right? So then, doing some research, I learned about what antimicrobial resistance is. See, antimicrobial resistance is nothing but the ability of microorganisms like bacteria, viruses and fungi to withstand drugs that are designed to kill them. So it's a pretty simple definition. A bacteria is supposed to be treated by an antibiotic, and the antibiotic kills the bacteria. You feel better, you are cured, right? That's what we know. But what happens is these bacteria undergo mutations and they become stronger and more equipped, and they can fight back against these antibiotics and become resistant to them. Now, what are the causes of antibiotic resistance? The major cause is overuse and misuse of antibiotics. And I'm going to explain this to you with the help of 3 case scenarios. So let's say that you have a common cold, right? You're feeling under the weather for, let's say, 3 days, and being impatient of staying home, not being able to do any work, you go to a medical shop and you just ask for some antibiotics, and they give you the antibiotics, right? And you take a couple doses of these antibiotics over several days without a prescription, I must add. And then there's the second case. You go to the doctor's office, you say, "I have so and so symptoms." It turns out to be a bacterial infection, and so the doctor gives you a 5-day course of antibiotics. But what do? You take the antibiotics for 3 days and you feel better. You are symptomatically better, so you stop your antibiotic treatment, right? This is the second case. And the third case is a doctor, from the position of a doctor, he prescribes a list of antibiotics for a simple infection, a whole like 5 antibiotics for one simple infection or something like that, or an antibiotic for a viral infection. So this is defined as the misuse or the overuse of antibiotics. See, what happens is whenever you have any sort of an infection or a disease, there are vulnerable bacteria and there are resistant or superbugs, right? So what happens is when you take the antibiotics and you don't take them properly, only the vulnerable bacteria will get destroyed, they will get killed, and the superbugs, they will be able to proliferate and multiply without any competition from these vulnerable bacteria. And so they multiply into large amounts, and they cause a highly resistant infection, which is very hard to be treated. Now, this is especially important in the cases of hospital scenarios. People who are about to undergo a major procedure, people who are able to undergo a major surgery, this antibiotic resistance will completely complicate those procedures. What's another cause? Not following proper hygiene measures, not washing your hands, not like refraining from going to social gatherings when you're sick. These will just cause a chain of this resistant infection all among the members of the society. And as we've already seen, overuse of antibiotics in livestock is also a cause for this antibiotic resistance. So let's move on to how can we prevent or how can we refrain from getting this antibiotic resistance. The answer is simple. only use antibiotics when it is properly indicated. Don't take it for like a common cold. Don't take it without a prescription. And whenever you are given a cycle of antibiotics, let's say for 5 days, continue it for 5 days. Don't leave it midway. Another thing is follow proper hygiene. Wash your hands properly, wear masks, and take care of yourself. And according to me, the best thing that you can do is just be healthy. Have a proper diet, do regular exercise so that you are free from all infections, let alone antibiotic resistant infections. Finally, the war is actually real. It is actually a fight of man versus microbe, and that is the world that we are living in today. So we really need to properly equip ourselves. We need to raise so much awareness. It will take a few minutes to share this knowledge with others. So continue to do so, because we need to get equipped in this fight to destroy antimicrobial resistance. Thank you for your time.